All right, everybody, let's kick it off. How are we feeling about the launch? That just getting it off the ground, getting something out there, getting something released, kind of blew our expectations away right off the bat. You guys are crazy with just getting on the platform and starting to generate images and going through it, giving us feedback, seeing everything going on in the Telegram. It's been fantastic. The team worked pretty much straight throughout the weekend to make sure everything was in place for launch, and we got it out the door about 5 minutes early.
Yeah, it absolutely was intense. It was such an incredible run there, and yeah, we've been dying on our end. The team's been dying on the crazy creations you guys have been making and listing. It's absolutely nuts. The sheer amount of creativity in this community is unbelievable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of kick it off, and I'm going to try to build out some structure on these spaces. And we're going to kind of go over some like items since our last spaces. I'm sure a lot of people are going to have a lot of questions, so we'll try to kind of address them in the beginning, and then we'll kind of open it up to like a Q&A session afterwards. So just about a week ago today, we had our last spaces. In that time, we launched Generative. It was absolutely down to the minute. It's great to see like the community. There's actually some technical people out there that are kind of watching the blockchain, seeing what's happening, seeing contracts being deployed. All of those things are really cool. I'm glad the education is kind of out there, and people are really getting it, even though we're kind of in a bit of a bear market here. But I prefer it. The people that are left over, the community members, they're the ones that want to be building and really believe in crypto beyond the hype. So with that said, thank you so much to this community. It's been absolutely incredible. I mean, Telegram, we're at like 1,100 members now. We launched that 9 days ago. It's just that number is growing. Love that KPI. I try to focus on that it means we're kind of doing the right thing, and the community is growing. That number is going up. Same with Twitter. It's buzzing. You guys are doing an amazing job of supporting each other, rating those tweets, getting the message out. That's been absolutely incredible to see. Discord, that metric is an important one for us. We want to kind of not quarantine, but I think in terms of like a community, Discord is really going to be kind of where the AI model creators and the artists are probably going to collaborate, prompt engineers and whatnot, and art shares. Usually, from what we can see, the demographic is on the AI side of things. You know, have projects like Midjourney and other AI projects that Discord seems to be the medium to have those discussions. So some numbers on our launch, in case somebody missed them. First 24 hours, you guys pumped out 6,000 images. 354 of them ended up as NFTs. And our platform, it transferred almost like 300 gigs of data. I think that's fantastic. Super happy for launch numbers. It was really good to see that. We're on CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko. I know a lot of people on TG were asking for, what are we going to do? It's, it takes a little bit of time. We're not going to, kind of chase after all of the DMs of people saying they can fast track. The last thing we want to do is kind of like get involved in any type of crypto scams. We're on some of those listings there. You had something to say, Carl?
Yes, we were in constant communication with both platforms there. They actually wanted to wait until we had our beta launched for them to get our listing up, and both of them CoinGecko was in 3 hours of our platform going up, and CoinMarketCap, I believe, was next day.
Yeah. Unicrypt as well. They've been great partners. A lot of community trust with Unicrypt. That was another big one for us. Unicrypt officially tweeted out and came in our TG, announced that we're locking up our LP for up to a year now. We also have the team tokens locked up. When we initially launched, we made it for 30 days. We'll be extending that again. We internally have had discussions with people. There's no compelling reason right now for us to touch the team tokens. We wanted the flexibility on launch because we had no idea what this was going to become, so that there may be some partnerships or anything like that. Been a lot of outreach with other projects, but there's none that kind of seem like a solid fit for us. So we'll be extending the team token launch. The team is not necessarily completely decentralized. We're kind of self-financing all of this, so there's no need for us to kind of take team tokens and disperse those to any decentralized dev or anything like that could kind of dump on the market. So right now, we'll re-extend that again. I'll create a poll in Telegram just to kind of find what our current community thinks is an appropriate time frame for us to lock up those team tokens. I'll give you guys an opportunity to have a say there, and whatever the level of comfort you guys would have with it. Another point, we're actively working with Unicrypt. They've kind of put us in touch with some partners. So we're going to be performing, and we've already kind of kicked this off, a full KYC audit with with that particular vendor. The KYC that particular audit will be indicated on a lot of the major coin listings, and it will show that we will be KYC approved. Again, full disclosure, we're just starting that. There's nothing that has been approved yet. So as soon as that happens, we'll make a formal announcement. But we want to kind of assure the community we're sticking around for the long term here. Lastly, in case you guys didn't catch it on Twitter, I wanted to kind of provide a quick update. We will be doing this on a regular basis, providing the community with development, what's changing to the platform, and we'll do that quite frequently. So we're not going to be working in a black box. And ideally, the team is going to grow, and it's going to grow in a centralized and a decentralized fashion. There have already been people in Telegram DMing me, looking to kind of join our team and whatnot. So we're evaluating all of those things. So dev update, the Twitter Connect is all set up. So you guys will be able to connect your accounts to Twitter. This is a big piece, especially for the artists. They want to be able to kind of sell their art and communicate and kind of link things, or at least the listings in their artwork. So that was a pretty big milestone for us to kind of get out the door and ship. We've made improvements already from launch day on the UI and the usability on the Generate page. You guys may or may not noticed. And lastly, just a small notice for not safe for work content. We are in a beta. We kind of were a bit surprised with the amount of not safe for work content that was being created, but so we have that notice for now. I have kind of mentioned in Telegram, really believe in an open AI, but that doesn't mean that we believe in things that are harmful. So we will absolutely fight anything that's harmful. But the notice is just there. We're not looking at censoring. The notice is just there to kind of protect some people until we kind of build out our categorization features on what's being generated. So that's pretty much it. That's quite a bit of a mouthful there. I kind of wanted to kick off just some things on what we're doing kind of going forward here. I really kind of want to highlight we're not a hype-based project. So, we're not kind of like Moon Boys here. We're not gonna kind of provide any extended forecasts. So we put it out there with the roadmap on our kind of light paper, white paper of the actual vision. But in terms of like, a lot of people are asking different kind of features on the roadmap. When's this going to be delivered? When's this timeline going to happen? From what I've seen, hurts the project. So we're not going to kind of provide timelines on anything that is not pretty much ready to ship. So just like our launch, we're going to kind of use that same type of methodology. We're going to talk about things and have conversations with you guys on what we're going to do to build it out, but we won't provide timelines. And when we do provide those timelines, it will be within 1 to 30 days of that actually being released. I find with other projects, they'll kind of make all these promises and it's just reiterating those promises and over again. And it's just diminishing returns. It doesn't help anybody. So if we don't have a formal date on it, then you can say, that's well into the forecast. It also provides us with some flexibility. The AI space is moving so quickly. We need to be able to adapt. So we have first mover advantage here. I don't compare myself to others, but just looking at all the other AI crypto projects that are out there, in terms of product that's being built and what's being shipped, we're probably out in front there, but that won't last. So I want the community to know our goal wasn't to ship a platform and just throw it out there and just say, hey, good luck, and this is what's what we're going to deliver on. That's just our starting point. We have a long way to go and a lot of work to do. So just stay tuned, guys. I'm gonna kick it over to Cobb.
Yeah, I just wanted to not address anything directly, but really just invite anybody up from the community who had any questions for us, and just kind of open it up to AMA.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to kind of bring Shibumi up, if he's I see him there, and he's been kind of an active community member and has done some pretty amazing things, in terms of figuring out the token, the token forensics. He's been kind of figuring out some stats and posting up a lot of things in the community. So I reached out. Yeah, actually, yeah, there you are.
Yes, hey. Yeah, here's Shibumi. Thank you very much, ZK, for inviting me to talk. So first of all, I would like to congratulate the team for a successful launch. So if anybody knows, actually has some experience of making any web page, especially if it works with blockchain, it is a pretty complex task, right? Most of the time, it doesn't work. We have issues. The chain stops. Like Ethereum is also anyways a bit complicated to work with. So in that case, big congratulations that it was a very smooth launch, right? And on top of that, the AI image generation, I have some experience running it on my own PC, right? Installing Python, creating some images. So it takes some time. It needs GPU power. It needs, you guys have done, how many images you said? Thousands, right? So it is
that's 6,000.
Yeah, it needs a lot of infrastructure, and it works almost perfectly. So, we have some bugs here and there. You guys are fixing it. So big congratulations. And so I agree with the comments of, it's the Moonboy project. People bought early and then, 4x, 5x sold out. But, I see, I'm doing some chain analytics, sharing it on Twitter as well as in the Telegram. And, I see the growth. I see the growth in the holders. I see the growth, in the number of Twitter followers. Some of the, let's say, whales or top 50 wallets, some of them sold, but most of them are still there. Some of them are accumulating, people who know. And yeah, as you guys said, I believe this is not a project that will be small, a couple of million market cap. If the half of the roadmap will be fulfilled, and making a benchmark with other projects in the AI crypto, I see a huge potential. So I wish you good luck. And yeah, looking forward to new product features as well as new community members in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming up and sharing that. We just love absolutely everything you've been putting together there. The community-run YouTube channel was really even a surprise too. Like that was just something that I would have never expected to see our community step up and do that. And you even offered to put the same thing for this space. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of open it up here. Feel free to kind of just make a request if you have any questions, and we'll be happy to answer them. Any takers? It's so funny because Telegram's always like flooded with questions.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure people has questions. I know there was some members having issues while listening. I think it's good now. So yeah, guys, come up, ask us. Yeah, take the chance.
Super high.
Hey, I was just curious. Well, first of all, congratulations on the launch. Me and a few friends have been here since day one, so that's awesome. Good to see the growth. And then my second question was, what plans do the team have in terms of marketing efforts?
That's a great question. It's asked over and over again. It isn't that we don't have a marketing plan. We absolutely do. And it's asked over and over. And what we're trying to do is kind of filter out the difference between the community that's asking for what I would say is like low value advertising comparatively to actually having a marketing strategy. The two are very distinct. The marketing strategy that we're going to have like primarily is going to be focused not necessarily just on like the TG community. We're going to kick that off primarily with a strategy on the artists and the model creators, because that's where we identify that is going to make and break this platform. So what I would say is initially there, we've already been kicking it off. I've actually been working on it for quite some time. And just, if you look at my Twitter history, it's actually kind of engaging, talking to different artists in the AI space. We're hyper-focused strictly on AI, generative art, and building kind of outreach and connections and bridges with those people in that space. So there will be kind of daily active art buys and ways to kind of support model creators and get them onboarded. And as well as that on the kind of traditional token side of things, it will be working with like established agencies in terms of coming up with a strategy rather than, kind of the DMs that I'm getting with my, Telegram, where it's like, I can fast track this and that. You don't have to pay up front. Like, it's just like a lot of that stuff is pretty scammy. And I think it's low hanging fruit, but I believe that it'll just be diminishing returns over time because the price action that we'll get on it is very short term. Hope that answers your question.
No, it definitely does. And, you hit the nail right on the head. You can't be paying KOLs, right? Because KOLs bring bots and people who are not actually interested in your project. So I'm excited to see where y'all go in terms of marketing. If you haven't found an agency already, I actually know one, and you can DM me if you want. I'm not going to sit up here and chill it. But yeah.
Sweet.
Thank you again.
That's the way I'd rather approach it. Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Actually, there's a question from Briscoe on Telegram, but he can't speak in this space at the moment. He's asking if there is going to be details coming soon about distributed computing and GAI's role on it.
Yeah, great question. That comes up quite a bit. Yes, we will provide information. It is moving quick, and it's just kind of like that one point that I identified earlier on. The space is moving very fast, and we want to ensure that we're not kind of revealing too much information to possible competitors here. We actually have like functioning POCs for the items that we've listed, so we're familiar with that. But we want to make sure that we get it right in terms of execution. So again, we won't announce it until it's pretty much ready to release. So yeah, no, stay tuned. Actually, there was another one that I kind of wanted to address as a FAQ. A lot of people kind of come in, and I'm assuming it's, you know, from the meme coin space, and I mean, you know, it doesn't have to be necessarily just like a meme coin, but like some of the pump and dumps and the calls. There is meta for some of those projects where contract owners are renouncing. And yeah, I wanted to kind of like direct that to Cobb here to kind of talk on the contract renounce, and just hopefully we can answer that question for the community.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the most popularly asked questions, I think, often asked by people who are just considering it kind of a checkbox. Either it's a binary yes or no, this project is either renounced or it's not. You know, we kind of see it as much more, there's much more depth to a question like that, because what they're really asking is, can I trust this project, right? That's really what they're trying to drill down to and get to at the heart of the question. You know, we believe there's more than one way to do that, right? As we've mentioned, our LP is locked for a year. Our team tokens are locked up. If you read through the contract, there's pretty reasonable controls on everything, from taxes to how we can change the maximum wallet size to you know, where we can send the taxes. There's no way for us to stop trading. There's no like hidden methods to take and move tokens around. It's all kind of out there in the open. We believe that renouncing, you know, is effective for projects that don't anticipate being around for a long time, because they don't think they need to manage their contract. There's nothing to manage. They don't see themselves being around 3 months from now. So for them, they're just getting out while they can, really. It's also worth noting that if you look at the landscape here of Web3 AI projects, the prominent ones at least haven't renounced. I don't want to name names, but the biggest 3 ones in terms of market cap have not renounced, and I don't know, you know, what if they plan to. I don't believe they do either, because they probably take the same approach that we do, and they look at it the same way.
And I think that's a good point. Like a lot of the questions that are being asked in the community, I would recommend that they kind of do some homework and just take a look at the space, and not just what we're talking about in terms of the roadmap and what we're going to deliver, but you know, the landscape. I mean, if people are supposed to kind of do some homework before they look at you know, joining a particular project's token, you know, take a look at how their management or contract management is set up, and you know, how the taxes are set up and whatnot. And I think the structures are very similar. And I'd rather just kind of address it that way, rather than saying, hey, you know, if you kind of do these micro signals, that's the reason why you know, something's happened with our particular token. I'm rarely gonna touch on, you know, any real direct questions on price action. I've always been super focused on the tech, what blockchain and Web3 brings to the world from a decentralized standpoint, and I'm always going to be tech over price action. When we kind of deliver on our, you know, roadmap here, I have no question that there's going to be traction and people that want to be involved with AI computing in a distributed fashion.
Just another question came up in the Telegram. I just want to address it. Just on the NSFW content. So we will be taking efforts to categorize the content better, like we had said. And the other element of it is, if you want to sign in and see all of that content, you will be able to. So you can essentially remove all of that filtering, all of that categorization. So if that's the experience you wish to have, you can get it. And if that's not the experience you want to have, you don't have to have it.
It looks like we also got E3 / Slotheroonie up here to ask a question. If you guys want to field that one there.
That is I. So same thing, basically day one supporter. Before I got into the project, I was super straight. Now I'm super gay, which is awesome. But when we're on the topic of trust, is there any plan, like we're talking about the contract and the renouncing and the token locks, etc. Is there any plans down the road for the team to dox? And like, do you guys think that would be valuable from a trust perspective, or what's your view on being like an anon team?
Yeah, great question. I'm not opposed to doxing, and that's why I was kind of initially kind of announcing that we're starting that KYC process by using an intermediary. If there is like an appropriate time, where we think it will be appropriate to publicly dox, we will absolutely do that. But I think short term that should address those issues that a community member may or may not have with our project. But
Awesome.
yeah, in the past, we kind of looked at other projects that have docs. We've been in the NFT space for a while. I don't want to name names, but I remember like an NFT generative project that had like a 4 ETH floor, and we actually know them IRL, and they decided to dox, and it actually didn't help that project. It actually people don't. It is strange. I think the intermediary is enough for now, and people being able to verify that we have gone through that process on external sites like Unicrypt and most of the listings. Again, I'll provide the detail once we're approved, and then we'll post it up in our socials.
No, I appreciate that. I've just seen it kind of like swirling on Twitter. Like one of the criticisms is the team isn't dogs. I'm actually pretty neutral on it. I think I kind of agree with you guys that I don't think it's always a benefit. Sometimes I think a mystery is good, like kind of what you said about the people dumping. But I appreciate the input. I got to jump off. Gay boys for life. I stand with the gays. Peace.
Thanks so much. Any others?
Oh yeah, we have another one coming from TG. The question is, what kind of runway do we have to work?
Not sure I really understand the scope of that.
What kind of runway? I mean, I guess how long can we work with the funds we actually have? I guess.
Oh, I mean that's always like dynamic. I had mentioned that we're self-funded and financed. The majority of the taxes that have been collected, actually that brings up a great point there. Within our contract, we actually have, and it's funny because Subumi posted that up in terms of the token stats, but when it comes to the actual liquidity lock, if anyone notices, it's actually dropped down in terms of liquidity lock from its initial percentage, and that's actually because of that 1% going back into the LP. So I saw that tidbit of information, and I was kind of wondering if the community would actually pick up on it. And that's one item that I wanted to kind of highlight, that it was something that we said we would do, and it's occurring kind of on from a smart contract basis. The other item is that taxes collected there. We'll kind of disclose some more details and be absolutely transparent with what we're actually going to do with that. I had mentioned earlier on the call that the focus on the treasury there is going to be supporting artists, model creators, and building relationships there. I had mentioned in Telegram that we are going to be absolutely completely transparent with that. Any supporting of artists or any funds going to model creators, it will be all done on chain. We, if there's an exchange, someone's created a piece, or we want to kind of attract a particular artist from listing on, say, Foundation, like an AI artist listing on Foundation, and we're able to kind of vampire drain them and have them come over to Generative. Those NFT pieces, those are all on chain. So those will actually be deposited into the treasury for everyone to kind of review. So yes, we're self-funded, got a long runway here. So not to worry. Any others?
I have a few questions, if it's okay. So the first one is, so are you doing this job full time, right? You have no other commitments, corporate jobs or all jobs or etc. And the second one is, what is the story behind Generative? You met each other, how the idea came, how this group came together. Maybe you can tell us about the story of the startup.
Sure, I'll take that. I'll actually start with the history of the team. So ZK and I, we've known each other for almost 10 years. We've run a Web2 business previously. We've had some exits there. Approximately 2017, we started to get into the Web3 space, kind of off and on, just through bears and bull market runs. Kind of recently, we had mentioned we've done some work in civil aviation, particularly machine learning. We had an exit there approximately a year ago, and from there, we've brought the people on our team, all 10 of them who are working on that project, over into the Web3 space. All those people on that team are working full-time on this. Myself, ZK, full-time on this. It's our exclusive focus. In terms of how we came up with it and where, like, how does a startup inception come, right? Back in, let's say, June, July, when some of this first AI art, let's say, noise started. We started seeing on Twitter a lot of people posting things being made in AI art. We started seeing some of the controversy around what these new models were going to do, how it was going to disrupt the art industry. Already having some exposure to NFTs, we kind of said, well, what could we combine that in some fashion, and have a system that artists who had problems with the way that this AI art was being generated and distributed, could we use Web3 technology to solve that in some way, right? So as I had mentioned in the last space, what a lot of these large-scale diffusion models are doing is essentially scraping the internet of everybody's artwork and training a model and then releasing it and not attributing anything back to the original artists who contributed to it, right? They now have the ability for those artists to opt out, but we thought, what if we did an exclusive opt-in? And what if the artist could have control over that and say, hey, if I make a good model, I'm actually going to get compensated for that in some fashion? Because right now, there is no compensation. There's no incentive for them to actually sit down and train one using it with their own data, their own images, their own artwork. So that was really the inception. From that, we realized there's a lot of other things we could do, not just related to generating images, but actually the infrastructure behind delivering models, training models, incentivizing people to run that, because it is a pretty complex thing to do. Like you had said, you shouldn't have to have a degree in computer science to set up and train a model, right? It's getting easier every day. And empowering artists to be able to do that, if we're successful at that, it will be a game changer, because right now there's no incentive for them to do so.
Thank you. Very, very interesting.
And I think it goes further too, right? Like, one of the other big issues, and this is the model provenance aspect of it, is just where did an image come from, right? Can you take an image that someone's posted on Twitter and figure out, what artist made it, what machine learning model made it, even if it came from a machine learning model or not? It's actually one of the open kind of unsolved problems here, and being able to attribute that back to the artist is not only important from just an attribution standpoint, but from a compensation standpoint. And that was really for us, that was really the inception part.
Do we have any other questions?
Yeah, we do. Also through Telegram. I guess people is not feeling like speaking. So someone is asking, what can we expect? What can they expect from us on the short term?
In short term, good question. We're going to continue to develop out that platform. So I would say it's a two-pronged approach. We're going to continue with like our marketing efforts that we only started aggressively going after now. We're going to start scaling that up. We attempted to try to have conversations with model creators and artists, and unfortunately, without the platform launched, a lot of them were like, "Great idea," but like the artists are kind of like going through it, like that's their livelihood. Same with the model creators, like as Cobb mentioned, they have no way of monetizing their work. They're just doing it because they're passionate about the space and it's a hobby. So now we're going to kind of focus on educating and providing the outreach to help those particular users understand what we're all about. And then the other piece from a technology standpoint is we are going to continue with delivering the rest of the items on our roadmap. Kind of short term here, I wanted to kind of leave it as like a one last thing on our dev update, but if anybody has noticed or not, but we actually just deployed the ability for you to select more models. So we've already expanded the model library, and that's live now. So so I want to invite people to go ahead and create and build some crazy things out there, and feel free to list them because yeah, it's a wild world. I actually wanted to kind of invite Yosemite to talk a little bit about a piece and more specifically an artist that we've been engaged with. So do you mind coming up here and elaborating a little bit more?
Hey guys. Sorry, just to clarify here, we talking about the beautiful piece by Ashu that just sold on the platform.
Yeah, you got it.
Perfect. Yeah. So, as ZK had been saying, we've been talking to a lot of artists and model creators before launch and, since the launch. And one of the artists that, we've been interacting with a bit and, really, watching and seeing how much they've been actually, experimenting with AI is, an artist, known as Ashu and Ashuwan, I believe, or Ashuwan. And sorry if I'm butchering that there. I know them a little better as Ashu, but yeah, they have been creating some amazing pieces. Actually, a really cool idea of translating art. They've been taking poetry they've been making and using that directly as prompts. And we love seeing that sort of creativity. And have been engaging with them more. We're thrilled to see that they've been experimenting with generative. They've actually made a thread explaining what they like about the project, and very quickly after getting on board have sold their first piece on the platform, which was absolutely amazing to see. So, it's awesome to see the support artists are getting already. And it's, great to see just, how people are applying this AI technology to their craft. Again, that was a really creative, way of trying to experiment with AI. And, I'm pretty thrilled seeing it. And clearly the community is too. So, that's been amazing.
It really is, and I think what I'd like to do is just call on the community, like not just kind of like focus on the day trading or anything like that. If you really believe in what we're building here, take a look at like the amazing pieces that are being created, especially the featured like AI artists and the collections that we're going to kind of post up. It's really important to the health of the platform and our longevity here that the artists and model creators they end up feeling the support. So whether it's like rating a thread on a particular thing that happens with a project, or even when we kind of tweet out things about artists, like rate that, like that's how they feel like they're really being recognized for the work that they're putting into it. I also wanted to kind of like highlight that particular piece that was sold, it was sold on our platform, and if you go to OpenSea and look for it, it's on OpenSea now. So like, connect the dots. Like those pieces are there. It's interoperable. It's going out on different platforms. So spread the word that way. We could absolutely use the attention from a social perspective, especially on those pieces.
There was another question that got asked a few times. Maybe we can address it. It's just, do we plan to do like a Telegram or Discord bot? The answer to that is probably not. I think anyone who's interacted with those bots, especially like a Discord one, know that the UI UX of that is just terrible. Like it's so hard to interact with it. So it's so hard to go back and find something that you made previously. If you've ever used Discord, Midjourney on Discord, you'll find that it's basically next to impossible to find your image once it's been generated. It just gets lost in this massive feed of everybody else's work. I know there's ways to do it through DMs, but still, it feels like it just absolutely regression of UI UX. I don't know if there was a particular reason that was asked, but the way I see it is, if other platforms have models that they would want us to include in our stack, absolutely, we're all for that. If there's models that you see other people using or on other platforms, we'd love to get that uploaded to our model catalog.
Any others?
Oh, geez, beat me to it.
Yeah, we have some more questions on Telegram. One is asking, does the team ever plan to turn off or reduce taxes either for buying or selling?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I think Com kind of identified that. It's funny because the community is always like asking for us to renounce, and at the same time, can we look at making adjustments to the taxes? There will be absolutely an appropriate time for the taxes to change. And that will most likely be around the same time as we scale up the distributed computing and building out the ecosystem on the L2 side of things. So to answer that question, yes, we will be.
We also realized to really grow this and get onto centralized exchanges or other ones, that's probably a requirement. So we do realize that in the long term, that is the accepted methodology for running a token as it grows.
Any other questions there from the listeners, or do we go to another Telegram question there?
Yeah, we have some more questions on Telegram. Yeah.
Hit us, man. What's the next one?
All right. So, could you please speak a bit more about GAI utility?
Sure. That item is actually in the roadmap and white paper. The actual utility of it, and what we see is the actual when we roll out the proof of computing and the distributed computing, that's when we're going to incentivize people to kind of create jobs, whether it's like an image generation or a request for a natural language processor to provide like a chat GPT type of response, all the way to music videos, things like that. There will be like buy and sell pressure on, or sorry, buy and sell demand on an L2 based token. So that will be used to exchange for supply and demand of computing power, and that's what we're kind of talking about there. You can kind of very much take a look at how early like Ethereum proof of work consensus mechanism worked. It would be very similar to kind of that. Obviously you have when they moved to proof of stake, they had staking validators. We'll have something similar, but instead of miners, calculating and like miners and nodes calculating out hashes, the difference is that that's going to be replaced with nodes that are, that do have a discrete GPU with a certain threshold of VRAM, and offering that up to the network to run AI jobs. So that's the utility portion of the whole token.
All right, I think that was it from TG questions. So if people in the audience want to ask.
No, it looks like kind of answered the questions. By all means, questions are good. I know like a lot of token projects, TGs, like asking questions can be kind of like taken as FUD. I personally like questions. They don't have to all like favor or be in a favor of our particular project, as long as they're respectful. I have no issues addressing any questions. Some items to kind of note in terms of transparency here. I just wanted to kind of mention there, and it came up a few times in Telegram, and I will take this approach, or at least the team, we will take this approach. Any big changes or moves, we'll announce it beforehand, because obviously there is a little bit of fear. We don't want to cause any FUD or anything like that. But one of the risks we didn't necessarily predict on the contract deploy that we get the traction that we did, but right now the taxes are residing on the deployer contract. We have spun up a Gnosis multi-sig, and those funds will be transferred to the multi-sig. We are going to do that rather than doing the art AI art marketing spend out of a deployer wallet. We're going to move that over to the intermediary. Any future taxes and stuff like that will then be sent to the multi-sig. Oh, and one other item, there was a request for us to enable topics on Telegram. We're going to be doing that. I don't want anybody to kind of be alarmed when all of a sudden people who aren't familiar with it, all of a sudden like messages all disappear or anything like that. There's an ability to kind of see the chat history. We just feel like it'd probably be a better way to organize things. So we're open to suggestions on some topics. We already kind of have a few in mind. One specifically, token talk. The other one kind of art share, and an art share not safe for work, as well as one for kind of the social media rating. So you guys can, kind of organize the information into one particular place. Great. I don't think I have anything else. What I'm looking forward to is our next spaces. What we're going to do is kind of change things up a little bit. A lot of token native crypto people here. We're going to start introducing some artists into the Twitter spaces and community, and can kind of tell us about challenges that they have, and same with model creators, and talk about the process. We're gonna kind of identify a few, seeing how many images have been created by this community. I think we actually have a good percentage of people that are actually interested about the AI space in general, but don't know where to start. Besides going to like a Midjourney platform and just like creating some images. So I'm gonna kind of throw it out there, see if that's appropriate, and that's something that the community would like to kind of see from the next spaces. And without anything else, Cobb, did you have anything else to add?
No, keep using the platform. We love all the feedback. We do see everything. I know we don't necessarily react to it right away, but every time someone puts a message out there, we are aware. We do have eyes on it.
Oh, I don't think we actually formally answered one question. Yes, we're full time. The team's full time. We're not like have our like this is like a side job or anything like that. We're pretty much on, and then you probably can see our activity on Telegram. There's no way this would survive, and if we weren't dedicating. That this is officially my life's work. So I want it to absolutely succeed. All right, thanks for joining, and we'll see you on the other side.
Thanks, everyone.
See you, everybody.